From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Wednesday, September 20th, 2023.
I'm Teresa Baldus with the Detroit Free Press. A federal judge this week dismissed a $100 million lawsuit filed by the infamous drug informant known as White Boy Rick. He sued the FBI and Detroit police 2 years ago, alleging they ruined his life. Specifically, he claims the feds and the cops pressured him into becoming a drug informant when he was just a kid and cost him a big chunk of his life. He was locked up at 17 and served 30 plus years in prison on a drug conviction, a sentence he blames the police for. But the judge says he waited too long to sue, contending he could have and should have acted sooner, so she tossed his lawsuit. His lawyer, meanwhile, vows an appeal. The man's real name is Richard Worshey Jr., who maintains that the only reason he didn't sue earlier was that he feared retaliation from powerful figures if he spoke up. The judge, however, didn't go for it. For more on this story, please report to Freep.com.
This is Julie Hines of the Detroit Free Press. Becoming Frida Kahlo, which debuted on PBS this week, is a perceptive and remarkably intimate documentary about the Mexican artist whose life speaks to a multitude of issues that confront us today. From discrimination aimed at women, people of color, and the LGBTQ community to income inequality, women's healthcare gaps, and the lack of support for those with disabilities. Kahlo was many things: vibrant, irreverent, brilliant, politically radical, purposefully controversial. Art was her superpower, says one of the documentary's interviewees. Young people, particularly young women, relate to her desire to be treated with respect, not for conforming to the old norms, but for being true to herself. The 3-part documentary was produced by Rogan Productions Scotland for the BBC. Its director, Louise Lockwood, an award-winning filmmaker and fine arts graduate of the Glasgow School of Arts, says she jumped at the chance to do the project when it was offered. Relying on photos and Kahlo's paintings, readings from her writings and those of her friends, and interviews with family members, biographers, and academics, the documentary delves into the many traumas that Kahlo overcame, as well as her triumphs in an era when women were not taken seriously, either as artists or as cultural figures. Only about 3.5 minutes exist of Kahlo on film, and that was one of the obstacles Lockwood faced in making the series. What she did have was a multitude of photos and self-portrait that helped make Kahlo a vivid presence here, along with the readings from her letters. Whenever the documentary's team was in doubt about something, according to Lockwood, it turned to Kahlo herself for answers. Says Lockwood, when it got complicated, we asked, what is Frida thinking? What is she feeling? Where is she looking? We always brought it back to her. Kahlo created her persona through her distinctive style, which she cemented through her self-portraits, and controlled her image in front of the camera lens, too. She was rarely caught off guard by photographers taking her picture. Like contemporary superstars, she manifested her destiny through her work and her vision. Says Lockwood, despite everything that happened to her, to use a really modern term, she had agency. Check your local PBS listings for times and dates on Becoming Frida Kahlo.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department. In the NFL, injuries are as big a part of the story as how your quarterback's playing and how your defense is tackling. And for the Lions, injuries are becoming a bigger and bigger part of the early part of this NFL season. Already, David Montgomery with a thigh bruise will likely not play this Sunday at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And now word has come that defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson has suffered a torn pectoral muscle, which could claim the rest of his 2023 season. Gardner-Johnson, of course, is becoming the emotional leader for the defense and was best known last week for his ski mask attempt. However, it seems like he will not be on the field for the Lions at the very least this week, and who knows how long. How will the Lions replace the safety who led the NFL in interceptions last season? Well, Tracy Walker, the starter from last season, who suffered a torn Achilles early in the season and is now back, will likely get most of those reps. The Lions host the Falcons at Ford Field on Sunday. The Falcons are 2-0 and feature a dynamic rushing attack, including rookie Bijan Robinson.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press by visiting freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.